you guys, it's me, Rachel, here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. And I have the much awaited video. I've got Batista here with everybody, so hope you guys can enjoy that. And I wanted to talk about something that's really important that I've I had a guy contact me yesterday, and he was having second thoughts about buying from this other breeder, and he was speculating that her female had been overbred. And it made me realize that this is a topic that I need to address. So, you know, little does she know, I helped her make that sale, because I told him the truth. So, for example, this female right here, Blondie, if you were to look at her, you might say to yourself, she doesn't look like a dog that's ever been bred, right? Like, she's got tiny little, you know, tatas. There's no drop or anything like that, but you would be wrong. This female has produced 3 litters for me. Okay. The reason why she has no tatas is because she's spayed, and all of the hormones for that are gone. And so they've recessed up into her body. The biggest tatas that are out here right now at this point in time is Jolene. And now if you were to just look at Jolene right now, you might think to yourself, good grief, man, this female, look how big and long her tatas are. You know, she must have had a ton of litters, right? Look how full and whatnot. No, not at all. She's actually only ever had 1 litter. And she's pregnant right now, due any day now, which is why her yoni is so flappy. And why her tatas are down there, and they're very much full of milk. So, and that is normal. That happens. Like right there, these females will fill up with milk in preparation for their babies, and they have very big babies. So ultimately, and it also has to do with hormones and the individual dog, just like it does in human women. So, like I said, she's had literally 1 litter of puppies ever in her life before. And she has the biggest tatas that are out here right now. Then we have this female here, right? This is Ibiza. Ibiza is also pregnant right now, but not near as close to labor. But you can see her yoni is also flapping in the wind. That's just hormones for you. And you can see that her tatas are, you know, they're not super down, but that's just kind of how she is. She's one of these dogs that develops more of the nipple and less of the full, you know, effect. I have to be careful, unfortunately, with YouTube with this kind of stuff. So then we have this female here, which really almost has no development at all. This is Roxy, this brindle female here. And in fact, she's actually had a litter for me. She has produced 1 litter. And you can see that, you know, you can really, I mean, there's like almost no development at all there. And it's just because genetically, that's just who she is. And in fact, I would dare say, I mean, if you look at her, you can't see nothing, right? Well, then look at Freya. Look at this female here. Look at that. She's got more development than Roxy. And guess what? This female's never produced a litter for me ever at any time. She has gotten pregnant twice, but lost her litter both times. So one might assume that she had a litter because she has more development in her mammillary glands than this female does, which are the tatas, scientific name for tatas. And yet this female has actually produced a litter, and this one over here has not. So thinking that you can look at a female's tatas and judge how many litters that she's had is a lie. That is an absolute lie. You cannot. What determines how many litters a female has had is her own, as far as like how she's going to look, are her genetics. And also whether or not she's spayed or neutered, and what part, not neutered, spayed, and whether, and what part of her hormonal processes that she's in. So like, for example, Asia, come here. Asia, come here. She's like, no, I'm eating a stick. Come here, Asia. Good girl. Yes. So Asia, you can see here, has produced 2 litters for me, and she barely has any development under there. Okay, barely has any development at all, and she's produced 2 litters. Okay, and then you have this girl here, Switch. And she has a lot more development down there, as you can see. And she has produced 2 litters for me. Switch has produced 2 litters. So here you have 2 females. You have Switch with these big old tatas. And then you've got Asia over here with like no tatas. But both of them have had the same amount of litters. Okay? Now, there is a difference between them right now. For example, Switch is currently coming into heat right now. So her hormones are going to cause her to have more development, because once these females come into heat cycle, everything just starts to get bigger. The yoni gets bigger, the tatas get bigger, everything starts to get bigger. And this is the last litter she had. This is her daughter out of her last litter. That's how long it's been since she had a litter. And it's only ever been 2 litters, but yet, look at them big old tatas, okay? And then you have Nirvana over here. Now, Nirvana had a litter not that long ago, okay? She had a litter a couple months ago. Her puppies are so young, they're literally like this size. They're this age. And her tatas, you know, are definitely hanging, right? And you have that one in the back that is really pronounced. Well, guess what? The reason that she has that back tata that is so big is because she had an infection in that tata. And it literally caused the tissue to basically, it kind of alters the, it causes basically like scar tissue. So even though she's no longer got any infection, that tata is not going to decrease in size until she is spayed. And I know that because her mother, which is over here, Blondie used to have, usually females do have like one just ugly tata. There's just usually one that just is like a crowd favorite from all the puppies, and they will just, you know, they'll just use it up. But, you know, it's hormones. So now that, let me see you. You're fine. You're fine, sweet baby. You're my sweet baby. You're your sweet baby. And so now that she's spayed, there's nothing going on there. You know what I mean? The tiniest little infant tatas, right? So, you know, let's put this myth to rest, because there's no reason for people to be judged off of behavior that they have not exhibited. You know what I mean? This female may have tatas that are almost dragging the ground, but she's only ever had 1 litter. 1. You cannot call a dog that's had 1 litter overbred. And this is verifiable. You guys know. You see my channel. You see the puppies. You see all that stuff, right? Nirvana, same thing. You know what I mean? Is she overbred? Absolutely not. She's in fantastic physical condition. And, you know, if there was such a thing as being overbred, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, every breeder has the right to be the kind of breeder that they want to be. But in my opinion, it comes from breeding older females. And that is actually common in a lot of the breeders that people would really celebrate as being the best breeders, right? So people who don't breed their females until they're already 2 years of age or older, people who show the crap out of their dogs. So a lot of the time they won't even be breeding a female until she's closer to 3 years of age. And then they put all this money into showing them and doing all this stuff. And so then they will breed a female until she's 6, you know, and above. And this is verifiable. All you have to do, we have the Cane Corso pedigree database, and you can go on there and you can look and see breeders' females, and you can see puppies that are listed, and you can look at the date of birth, and you can see just how many litters these dogs have had and how old they were when they had them. Batista, for example, Batista! Sweet baby boy, sweetness, he's a sweet man, yes. His, sweet boy, his grandmother is a very, very, very important dog for us genetically. Leave him Batista, you be nice to that poor baby boy. You be nice, you're a sweet man. He's a sweet man. Mwah, kisses on the face. And so, Batista, his, I think it's his grandmother is a very popular dog named Ambra. Very important dog for the genetics of our breed. Sweet man. And And she was bred, I want to say, at like 7 or 8 years of age. So, but this breed was almost extinct 50 years ago. So there are going to be cases where people do breed females longer. And I had a discussion like that with somebody the other day, where I had this lady who asked me, well, how many litters do your females have? There's all these like questions that people have been told to ask. They look on these websites and it's for me, it's annoying, because the people that are making these websites and making the quote unquote rules for what makes a good breeder are not breeders themselves. And they don't know anything about what it is to be a good breeder or about the reproductive system of dogs. And I don't know if you've ever had a job where you get a boss or somebody comes up from corporate that has no idea how your job actually works, but someone up in corporate decided that they thought it was a good idea for them to change things. And so then you end up with this situation where you've got these people that are instituting new rules and policies that are counterproductive to your job, that are dumb, they don't make any sense, and they make everything harder and they slow things down, because ultimately they are trying to make rules about an industry that they really don't know anything about, because they've never actually been on the front lines of it. And that's what it's like when you take information. Don't you dare switch out. That's what it's like when you take your information on how to judge a good breeder off of people who do rescue and adoption. They already don't like breeders. They already have bad opinions of them. And they already have all of these preconceived ideas about dogs or all that kind of stuff. So they take their misguided information and then pass it on to you, and then breeders in general just get judged. And so now we have these people that basically believe that if the female doesn't look like this, or doesn't look like Blondie over there, who looks like she's never been bred, if they don't look like that, then you're doing something wrong. And it's just simply not the truth. It literally couldn't be farther from the truth. And I have another female. Velocity, where you at? Because I know you're out here. Come here, girl. Velocity! Velocity! What's wrong with you? Come on, girl. Where you at? Where you at, stinky face? Is that you over there in the bushes, or is that your daughter? There you are. They're my sweet Velocity. They're my sweet girl. So you might ask yourself, based upon her tatas, how many litters has she had? Okay? You might ask yourself that. Her tatas look very small, right? Doesn't look like she's overbred at all, right? 4 litters. 4 litters out of her. Okay? 4 litters. And she barely has any tatas at all. So you cannot judge how often a female has been bred by looking at her tatas. It is unscientific, it is unreliable, it is not true. What determines how a female's tatas look is what part of the hormonal process she's in, how long ago she had babies, how many babies that she had, and just her general genetics. You know what I mean? Of like, you know, how developed she gets. Because like I said, I've got this female here, Ibiza. Ibiza has only ever had 1 litter, but her tatas are not super pronounced. She basically just has oversized, nipples, right? And then you've got Jolene. Where you at, Jolene? Where you at? Jolene! There you are, sweetie. And then we got Jolene right here. And she is almost dragged to the ground. But she's had the exact same amount of litters as Ibiza over there, wherever she went. There she is, right here. Exact same amount of litters. 1 litter each. And they got big old hanging tatas. And this is just before they've had their litters. Imagine once they've been nursing, however many puppy you've been tasting, baby. Imagine after they've been nursing litters for 3 weeks, 10 puppies, whatever, however many they have. Imagine how much worse it's going to be. If they're this big now, Imagine how much worse they're going to look after they've had a litter, after they've actually nursed. And that's why, like, Nirvana's look pretty bad right now, because Nirvana just nursed a litter and she had a big litter. So let's put this to rest, please. Let's not judge dogs based upon their tatas. Let's not judge breeders based upon the tatas. Quit. Get out of that. Of their dogs, because ultimately that is not what determines how frequently a dog has been bred. It is unscientific, it is untrue, and it is not fair. You are literally harming people's reputations. You're harming their life, their business, because and I don't think that it's a mistake. I don't know. There's a saying that says to not contribute malice to what could be just ignorance, and like a mistake or whatever, you know what I mean? To basically give people the benefit of the doubt that when they make a mistake, that it is just a mistake and that it's not done on purpose. But the issue is that, and what people don't realize is that dog rescue, unfortunately, is in competition with breeders. Now, we don't want it to be that way. As breeders, we don't want it to be that way. We're not the ones making all of these accusations against rescues. It's the opposite. I've never seen a breeder post an article about how to tell if the rescue that you're working with is actually a good rescue. You know what I mean? Like, I've never seen anything like that, because we don't care. We appreciate what a lot of rescues do. So we would never go out of our way to try to hurt their reputation. But rescues do it to breeders, and they do it in a very unscientific, a very unfair way. And they have, and this is the worst part for me, is that they are in direct competition with us, because ultimately they want you to rescue. They don't want you to buy a dog. That's why they always say adopt, don't shop. Like, they're always trying to pressure people into not going to breeders. And this is America. If you want to do that, by all means, you can do that. But I am here to tell you that you cannot trust people who have a bias and who are actively trying to get you to not use a particular business. Hey. No, we're not going to do that. Thank you anyway, Asia. I don't need the whole, but I appreciate your efforts. You know what I mean? Like, if you wouldn't go... If you knew that your mother hated tattoos, you wouldn't go to her for her opinion on tattoos, right? Because you know she has a bias against tattoos. You know she doesn't like them. So she's not going to have anything positive to say. And in fact, everything she's going to say is going to be in an effort to get you to not get a tattoo. So when you are looking at information about how to identify a good breeder, you need to recognize that the people that are often writing that stuff and the information that comes from that is often people who are in rescue. Those kind of points come from those same kinds of people, and it is just unscientific. Let's not judge our female dogs based upon their tatas. It's not fair. It ain't right. And, it's like dog sexism. So just, leave them alone. Let them be moms, right? Let's not judge moms. And I promise you, if human beings had 10 babies, they wouldn't be looking too hot either. Preacher? No. So, you know what I mean? Like, let's try to not be so judgmental. Let's try to be, fair to these, Valkyrie? Psh. Let's try not to judge these girls, and let's try not to judge people who are simply maintaining and preserving breeds that have existed for over 1,000 years. Okay? No matter what any rescue tells you, dogs are worth saving. And if we all just stopped shopping for dogs and adopted, it would literally take about 4 to 5 years to completely make breeds go extinct. Because the fertility cycle of a female dog, their fertility begins to drop substantially at 4 years of age. So it would not take very long if people stopped buying pedigree dogs to completely destroy breeds. because there wouldn't be enough, you know what I mean? Like that's just what it would be. So because we can't do that, then that means that we do need to buy responsibly. We do need to buy good, healthy dogs from good breeders, but that doesn't mean judging their dogs off of their females' tatas, okay? There are ways of doing that. You talk to them, you find out how much information they know. A good breeder is going to be very knowledgeable. They're going to talk your ear off about their dogs because they're going to be so passionate and they're going to love what they do so much. They're going to be proud of what they do. It's not going to be, yeah, here's this dog. I bred this dog because he's got a huge head, and I bred this other dog because he's got a huge head, and I'm expecting really big dogs with huge heads. That's not what you're looking for, okay? You're looking for people that can tell you about their dogs. They can tell you about their bloodlines. They can tell you about why they did a breeding, what faults are in their dogs and what they're trying to correct. There are ways of knowing, but the idea that you can somehow, it's no different than stereotyping a person. You cannot tell how a person is just by looking at them, okay? You need to talk to them. You need to get to know them. And so, let's try to be better people. Let's try to end a lot of this false information. And my challenge to you, as people who watch me and who are educated, is the next time that you see somebody trying to judge somebody else's dog based upon their tatas, I want you to send them this video, and I want you to tell them that they're wrong and that what they are doing is harmful. And it's just wrong to do to the females. That's like messed up, man. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I hope you enjoyed having Batista out here. I told you guys he was fine. He's ain't no issues there. Old man is still kicking and strong. I know he's all gray in the muzzle, but he just has an early graying gene is all. So it's not an issue of like him actually like aging too quickly, because Preacher didn't have it, and he's gone. But it's just like people. People can have early graying. Dogs can have early graying. What are you doing? No. Ibiza, get out of there. Quit digging. Y'all are bad dogs. So, what you doing, Valkyrie? What you doing, Valkyrie? Sweet baby girl. Sweetie, look at that sweet face. Boo, 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 got your nose. So, anyway. Batista. Sweet man. Sweet man. He's an old man. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Sweetness. Yeah, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. Yeah, what's wrong with your eyeball? You need, I feel like you need some eye drops out here. I mean, the ragweed has been crazy. He's always had somewhat seasonal allergies. Yeah, he's got gunk in his eyes. That's all right. Dude, the ragweed's been kicking my butt. Luckily, somebody was asking if everything's healing. Yes. You can see some scarring there. But it is over. It just cleared up on its own, man. I didn't even know that ragweed could do that, but it does. It literally, it'll create these streaks. And that's how you know it's ragweed. It's like lines. Oh, velocity. What's up, Batista? Did she get you? Did she get you? Oh, little Preacher. Baby Preacher. Batista's like, nah. Batista, sweet man. Oh, Velocity. What was that about? Oh, sweet man. You go away, Velocity. You leave him alone. You're just sweet boy. You need a bath? You're over here scratching. You need a bath? Mommy give you a bath. Mommy give you a bath. Yeah, sweet man. Sweet man, the Batista. Who's a sweetie. Mwah, kisses. Velocity, you quit being a punk. Leave him alone. She's actually had two litters out of him. Oh, God. Look at Blondie. Blondie came out here running around like a mad woman. I was scared because I didn't want her to overdo it. But you know what? I'm just going to tell you, man. It's a thing. Like, as soon as we... Kisses, Blondie. As soon as we got the weight down, man, she was totally fine. Made a full recovery. No issues, no limping. She's running around here like a mad woman. Totally no problems. So, got to keep that weight down, man. Got to keep it down. So anyway, well, I'm going to let y'all go. But spread the news far and wide. Don't judge the tatas. Leave the dogs, tatas alone. Stop judging them and pretending that you can know things that you couldn't possibly know. Nirvana, did you see that? You get her. You go get her. Nirvana, you go get her. What you doing, Gattaca? You going to poop? You doing a poop? You get her, Nirvana. Look at that. Let's see what she does. Yep, there we go. She's like, you're being too rough with that baby. Being too rough with that baby child. Blondie comes over. See Nirvana back off. So now I did call, oh, like a preacher getting in there. I did call Nirvana my new alpha. And she is, so long as her mother is not out here. But when her mother's out here, you know, her mother's going to be the top dog. So it's just a thing. These are my OGs. Ooh. Freya's getting it, man. The reason why Freya is getting it is because she's always horsing around too much. She plays way too rough. Like she runs way too fast around the puppies, the young pups. And the older dogs know that that's not healthy. That's not good. She's gonna see. Look, Nirvana's watching her. Ooh, boom. Okay, she didn't hit her. I thought she would. And these girls have smacked the ever-living crap out of each other. Roxy and Freya. I'm telling you. Asia, when are you gonna have more babies for me? Dude, Asia is the one I've been trying to have more babies out of. But I've only been successful twice. Her first litter, she had like 12. But then her second litter, she only had 2. And she didn't get pregnant the last time I bred her. 2 times now she hasn't got pregnant. No fault of her own. First time I put her to Hefe, that didn't work. He was having some issues there. And then the third time I put her to Habibi. And that didn't work because Habibi was too young. I will say this, like, it only took him a couple more months because I did put him to Jolene, her right there, and she's pregnant. So, you know, he is ready. He is fertile, but he wasn't quite ready he was over a year old, but unfortunately, every male is going to do it at different times. As far as their fertility is concerned. And sometimes it's not even about that. Sometimes you just miss the days because they're only fertile out of 30 days. They're only fertile for 3 days. Some dogs are actually only fertile for like 24 hours. Velocity did that to me one time on her last litter. Was it her last? No, her second to last litter. She only bred 1 day, which was coincidentally Mother's Day. And she did produce a litter for me, a big litter too. So, and I had heard about that from my mentor. He had told me that some females will literally only be fertile for 24 hours. And I was like, God, please, not me. And it did, it happened to me. But you know, it was okay. So anyway, so it may not have even been Habibi's fault. There's a lot of things, like, unless you're doing progesterone testing every time and all that stuff, when you're just letting nature take its course, you know, you're not going to be successful every time. But I really prefer to just let nature take its course. That's just kind of how I am. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoy having Batista out here. And yeah, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.